I did mention in my previous video, if you guys watch it, if you didn't watch it, make sure you go watch it, that this is a time where millionaires will be made. If you're trying to make money and you don't make money in this period, I don't know if you ever make money. There's a massive opportunity. In the past week, in the past month, the S&P 500 has been down, the Dow Jones has been down, and also the Russell 2000 has been down. I'm guessing if you're watching these videos, you know what they are. If you don't know what they are, please do some research. They're basically stock market tracking index that tracks, for example, the S&P top 500 company. In the US stock market, obviously we do know the Mag 7, which are the big 7 tech companies, are heavily weighted in this portfolio. However, the fact they are down is very scary for Wall Street. Many say the factor for this is due to the geopolitics, due to the tariff wars, due to the Republicans being in office, due to a whole bunch of stuff. It is good for you guys to know why the stock market is going down. However, if you're just trying to make money, all you should know is that this is a time to make money. A lot of analysts who works for massive firms said that a recession is coming. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs increased their probability of a recession this week. So what does this mean for us? It means we can get stocks cheaper. A lot of people don't like to buy during the dip, which is crazy to me, because if I was to give you a brand new iPhone that everyone wants, but so you can get it for 20% cheaper, why wouldn't you buy it? Why would you only buy it when the price has gone up by 20%? A famous investor said, when everyone's buying, you should be selling. When everyone's selling, you should be buying. Now everyone's selling. Everyone always wished that, oh, I need the market to go lower. I need this price to go lower for me to invest more. Now is your time. To new investors, this is the best time to invest. As I said, you need to make your money make more money for you. To stop keeping your money in the bank. So the first thing you should do during a recession is invest in stocks. If this is DCA, so you're going to carry on putting money into the market every week, every month. I personally put it in every week, every Monday. Start doing it. If it's £10, £20, £1,000, £20,000, wherever you have, start putting in. People say you should only invest money you're willing to lose, but I believe, because I'm young, and if you're still young, maybe you should invest a little bit more than you can lose. This is not financial advice, by the way. I'm not a financial advisor, an accountant, anything like that. This is just my point of view. And this is what I'm currently doing. And this is what my advice would be to people who are trying to make millions during this recession. You should be investing a little bit more than what you can lose. So for example, let's make it just whole numbers. Let's say you take home £1,000 a month and all your expenses are like £600 a month, so you have £400 left. Maybe instead of you only investing 200, so you can have 200 backup, maybe invest 300, so then you will live according to that 100 you have. What I'm trying to say is that if you put money in after you get paid a decent amount, you're more likely to live within the means of your remaining money that you have, compared to you a lot of room on, let me give myself an extra £200 just in case. You're more likely to spend down, let's say, on takeaway and other stuff, rather than if you don't have it because it's already invested, you wouldn't have that extra takeaway, or you wouldn't go out every weekend, if that makes sense. But let's not digress. First thing is, you need to invest your money. If you're not willing to put in time, a lot of time, I wouldn't recommend picking individual stocks. Maybe look at an ETF, maybe Vanguard ETFs, whatever ETFs, but you have to do your research. I can't advise you on what ETFs to put your money in. Maybe even as S&P 500, but if you're willing to put in a lot of work, a lot of research, then I would recommend individual stocks, only because there's higher returns. But that's only if you have a lot of conviction, because as I said, this market is going to be very volatile for a while, especially tech stocks are going to be very volatile. That could mean maybe having 3 high growth stocks, mainly tech stocks, and then you could have an S&P 500 to balance out your portfolio. That will give you a mixture of low risk and high risk if that's what you want. But if you're not willing to put in a lot of hours, I mean a lot of hours, put your money in an ETF or the S&P 500. During COVID, we saw stock market plummet, like huge numbers. We were all panicking, and guess what? The prices now are more than 3x what the price was in COVID, even though everyone was panicking. So I'm telling you, life will move on. Once we get past the recession, stock market go back up. The stock market only goes up, but yes, it will go up and down, but it's an upward spiral. So avoid taking any money out. I know it's hard. When you see red days, maybe don't look at your stock portfolio all the time, but just buy. When there's blood in the street, buy. Literally buy. You should even be buying more than you would buy when it's going up. Just buy. Just buy. Especially because these are stocks I'm hoping and assuming you're convinced about, or ETFs you're convinced about. And always remember this, investing is a marathon, not a sprint. We invest for the long-term game, not for the short-term game. So in the long term, you would always win. You will always win. Compound interest is a thing. The rule of 72 is a thing as well. You can look all of these things up. I just want you to have a mindset that don't panic. If it means stop listening to news, stop listening to news. The stock market on a daily basis is like a voting machine, but in the long run, it's a weighing machine. Let that sink in. So every day, stock market will give you different prices. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. But in the long run, it's how much you can actually obtain. Stop focusing about the short term, just focus about the long term. That's the first step I will give you guys. My second advice, and this is very important, make sure you try to repay all your debt. All your debt, make sure you try to repay. Especially high interest debt. A lot of you guys, you have a credit card, you don't even know what your interest rate are. You don't know how much you have to pay back just on interest. So my advice is to you, take 2 minutes out of your day, look it up. If you can't be bothered to look it up, call them or go to a bank and ask. And once you figure this out, try to pay it off, because having debt is a slow killer. You won't realize that you're just paying interest on top of interest. Trust me, the bank wants you to borrow more money. That's a large way of how they make their money. So for people who are trying to make money during this recession, please pay back your debt. Especially during a recession, you don't know what the next interest rate will be. You don't know if it's going to spike up or go down. Imagine if it spikes up and you're still owing the bank quite a lot. Now you're paying even higher interest rate. So please, I can't emphasize on this, make sure you pay back your debt, especially if it's over 7%. You won't do that straight away. That being said, don't try to take out extra debt now. It's not the time. Only spend your money on what you need. Best practice to spend the money you actually have, not on credit. It's not the best. Please don't do that. The third rule is take the news as a pinch of salt. I'm telling you, if you spend all day just listening to the news, you're going to panic and you're going to do emotional buying, emotional selling. You're going to do something stupid. We need to be rational over here. No impulsive decisions. I remember during COVID when everyone just kept listening to the news, and on the news, for at least 12 hours of the news, they'll just be telling you how many people, just making everyone depressed, literally, and bringing fear into people's lives. Yes, the news is there to inform you, but we do know about the mainstream media. There's always narratives they're trying to push out. Every different mainstream media. And this is why the rise of individual news outlets are emerging. Even podcasters, people on YouTube, people on TikTok, that if you actually look at the numbers, they get more views than Fox, or let's say Sky News or CNBC. Because people don't like these biased narratives. Most of these news channels are either far left or far right. There's never one that's just giving you the data and not trying to be biased. So this being said, please take the news with a pinch of salt. Yes, you can listen to news if you want to be informed, but do your own research. And please, truth check everything, because some of the stuff they're saying on the news, especially these headlines, are a bit false and a bit misleading. Better step is just don't be listening to the news too often. Like, you don't need to be seeing the news saying the stock market's going down 5% today, tomorrow 20%, next day 30%. That's going to make you want to panic. You already know it's going down, you know it may go down for a bit longer, but main headlines like Trump is increasing tariffs on China by 120%, Trump decided to pause the tariffs for 90 days, stuff like that you can listen to. But we do know Trump is a negotiator, he's a salesperson, he's a marketer. He knows how to catch the attention of people. The words he uses, he doesn't use them by mistake. He uses every single word deliberately. And I think he's such an intelligent person. So don't be misled by the news and take everything with a pinch of salt, please. Don't know what number I'm on, but next rule is try to get a side hustle. Jobs during receptions are very volatile. You'd be like, yeah, I won't get laid off, I won't get made redundant, but people get made redundant so easily. If you need to learn any other skills, or if you need to do extra work wherever you can, try and make sure you can secure your job. Sometimes that's not in your hand, but try get a side hustle or do a second job, just because you never know. Hopefully, and God forbid, you don't get sacked or you don't get made redundant, but having a backup job or a second job or a side hustle is very important. Just 24 hours in a day, find ways to increase your monthly intake. If that means doing more overtime, getting a second job, or starting a side hustle, whichever way it is, try and make more money, try and increase your monthly intake. And yeah, this is just my own little 2 pence on how you can make money during a recession, because I think a lot of millionaires will be made, and hopefully you're part of them and you don't get left behind, because the gap will get bigger between the rich and the poor. And we know in this channel we're all trying to make wealth and impact society.